Southern California, yeah.
Born and raised our DNA. Laugh and cry to what we say. We hit you with that wordplay.
4053.
What episode are we on? D, they feeling like they be zombies, all dressed in Abercrombie.
SoCal DNA coming in live. 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night. COVID got you sitting inside. Why not sip one and free your mind?
Cheap thrills, popping pills, stack cash, spend it fast.
Listen to all of Don's lies as Arjun act like he's surprised. Man, I wanna find a way to like gradually decrease the volume. Like, you know what is it called? Like fading it out or whatever. I have it like I'm just dragging it to the left. I feel
Dude,
like such
I know,
an amateur, bro.
I hear it every time too, because when I go back and do the timestamps, I either see it on the screen, and you kind of abruptly jump from 100% to like 20, and the rest of the way. So I have two solutions for it. Either we can actually create a new mix.
Where it automatically fades out.
Yeah, that might be easiest. So we kind of get that timing down. Yeah. So let me jot that down.
All right, taking those notes.
I have to, man. Create a new mix for the D. I got you.
Are you still? All right. So I heard you type in there. I was gonna ask, are you still like a pen and notebook kind of guy, or is everything digital?
That's a good question. I actually do a mix of both, but it's not very logical. Let me explain. So,
yeah, please.
Like I'm writing with my pen on the laptop screen, and it's not even a touch screen. It's just I'm messing up my screen.
You're just buying so many laptops.
That's what I do. So many pens and laptops. That's what I do. So at work, I do use OneNote.
Okay.
OneNote, as you know,
sure.
It's very easy to collect. Yeah. You
Bapu's buddies.
Bapu's buddies, that's right.
Yeah.
The friendlier version. So I tend to use that heavily, but at the same time, sometimes it's like I want to write something faster. I know it's stupid to say, but it's like, oh, let me grab my little tiny notebook here and grab a blue or black pen and just write something in there, and I look at it for some time. And sometimes I could be doing some math problem. It could be like a sketching a quick circuit, trying to understand, okay, what does it look like? What am I looking for? And sometimes like just having the, pen and paper just in front of me, it kind of brings me back to like school days where that's what we did all the time. You know, I wasn't taking notes on a tablet. I wasn't taking notes, on my computer or my laptop. I was always writing down the notes in my notebook. And so by doing that again from time to time, not all the time, I kind of feel like, all right, I'm in the zone now. I'm writing down something quick, something important. Maybe I will have to type this up again later. So that's where the logical part comes in. I might as well be more efficient, type everything out the first time. But a part of me is just compelled to use the pen. Not the pad, the pen and the paper.
I mean, the pad, it's all good. I get it, I don't take notes anymore. If anything, it's during a meeting, and at that point I have a Word document open. I'm trying to remember the last time I actually wrote something down, aside from like a signature on the back of a check or, a quick little note, what an order is. I'm thinking I'm strictly digital now, dude, and it scares me.
Well, it shouldn't though, right? I mean, I think when it's digital, it's more secure in the sense that, you're not going to throw away the piece of paper, or you're always going to have a copy of it on your drive, on
Do you think so? I mean, yes and no, right? Because like, what happens when there's no electricity?
Well, there's different things, right? I'm saying as long as it's on some kind of a cloud-based server.
But what if TikTok takes over?
I think that's unrelated.
Wait, I forgot the company. I just shouted out. Was it Tencent? I forget the company that's with TikTok.
Yeah, it's either Tencent or something else. TikTok parent company. I'm gonna look that up right quick. ByteDance. It's called
ByteDance. See, what if ByteDance destroys all our clouds?
Destroys all our clouds.
Just destroys it. That. Just saying.
Just nukes them. Just nukes our clouds.
Right? Finds all the components and just fucks it all up, rearranges it all. I'm just saying. What?
Well, I think. Well, what if a fire happens, Don?
Right? Well, then you better not be at home. Like, God damn. We got fires going on here in California. They're nowhere near home.
Then I actually have a technical solution for you. So if the cloud goes down, there's something you can do more locally for yourself.
What, external?
Yeah, basically, you can have this redundant drive system. I forget what it's called exactly. It might be called RAID, where you have like multiple hard drives that are very high capacity, like in the terabyte range,
Sure.
and you put them in like a NAS bay. And essentially, what happens is you're not going to have like 50 terabytes worth of data per se, but let's say you have like 10 terabytes worth of data. Well, that data is actually replicated onto all those drives. So there's a lot of redundancy. If one
Mm.
drive fails, then you can have the other drive back up and it restores it. So it's something you can locally maintain if you're kind of in the know about this, or if you're just interested about preserving data, keeping data local, off the cloud, but just in your local network. This is a very easy solution. So there's always ways, even if ByteDance takes over and destroys the bigger clouds out there,
Mm.
as long as you're backing things up locally to some extent, whether it's on a SSD or a traditional hard drive, a USB thumb drive, you should be okay. Should be okay.
I don't trust it, man. I don't trust it.
But sometimes different things can mess you up. It could be a virus. It could be a liquor, and I know, Don, you are drinking on something very tasty today. So why don't you
Oh,
tell
this
the
one's
audience
very, very
what
tasty.
is your spotlight sip for the night?
All right. Tonight we are joined by none other than Aero Lodge Brewing. One more time, we have something called Best Buds. It is a hazy India Pale Ale with Nila wafers, lactose, and vanilla, clocking in at a solid 7.5%. It's delicious. It's almost like a milkshake IPA. Usually when you hear of hazy IPAs, you kind of get the impression that it's going to be super bitter and super aggressive on the palate. But this one's nice and mellow. Super good, super enjoyable, and you still get the hoppy profile that they put in. Nila wafers, don't really get that too much, but it is sort of biscuity, so I'll give it that. But yeah, this one, kid you not, giving it the triple D 0.23.
Really?
Triple D
0.23?
0.23. Yeah, this is one of my favorites. And it's been my favorite ever since they released it. Usually, I'm not sure if you're the same way, but things get repetitive for me really, really quick, especially when it comes to flavor profiles in food. Like, I enjoy eating or drinking something that I enjoy, repeatedly, maybe once or twice, maybe even 3 times. But then when the 4th time comes around, I'm kind of over it. And I've never gotten over this beer. It's that good,
Oh.
man. I'll save a can for you one day.
When was the first time you had this beer?
It's about a year and a half ago.
Okay, and probably since then you tried it. Maybe
Probably
a
like once a
handful of
month.
times? Like
Yeah, like
once a month. Okay, that's more than a handful. That's 2 handfuls. That's more than 2 handfuls. Jesus. Okay, wow, that's something. To comment on that a little bit further, I would say I don't think I'm that way. I think if I like certain dishes or like certain whatever it could be drinks,
hmm
I know I'll like it for a long time. Um, my tastes don't really change that much. But with that being said, I'm always open to trying something different. Before I used to have this problem. I call it a problem. It maybe not be, but whenever I go to a restaurant, I try to look for anything that's like Thai, like a
Mm.
like a Thai noodle or a Thai
Interesting.
curry, even if it's like an American restaurant.
Why?
Like yeah, it's like there's the Native Foods Cafe at the district. I don't know if it's gone, but it used to be there. Um, Basically, there was this like Thai meatball dish. It was like a Thai meatball bowl,
Sure.
and it was the only thing on the menu that had Thai in it. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. And it was like the worst experience I've had. No diss to Native Foods Cafe. It is a great place. You can get plenty of good stuff there. And I think I like their ginger beer, like their ginger ale,
Sure.
whatever
Sure.
they
Sure.
call
Sure.
it. Really good. But yeah, it's just I had this problem where I would always prefer to go for the Thai option at any place, even if it's not a Thai restaurant. I grew out of that, and so now whenever I go to a new place, I try not to go for my go-tos. Even if it's like a Thai restaurant, I try not to go for the pad Thai, pad see. I
Mm.
explore the menu a little bit. I want to try different flavors. I want to try, extending my palate because I know I have a long way to go to your level of palate. I mean, you have tasted all these flavors from all these different countries and cuisines. I can only imagine the type of chemical reactions that are happening on the tip of your tongue every day.
Oh, I don't even know. With all the drugs that we put on it, it's all fucked up at this point. Um, no, but dude, you like Thai food, huh? Or that's your flavor profile. That's interesting. Heavy basil, good use of spices. Well, it's kind of like a mesh of Indian and Southeast Asian, or just traditional Asian, I would say, which forms Southeast Asian cuisine.
Yeah,
Huh? And
yeah. I'll tell you. I'll tell you this though. Like the flavor profiles that appeal to me most is like the coconut milk
yeah,
that's
yeah,
used in a lot of the curries. I
yeah.
think we talked about this before when you were talking about like, oh, give me three ingredients.
Yeah. I still remember that. What was it? It was like coconut milk, something, and you
It
started off
was
with like eggplant or tofu. I
it
forget
was
which one.
eggplant. Yeah,
Yeah.
actually both. It was eggplant, tofu, and coconut milk.
There we
So
go. Yeah.
yeah. But no. So going back to this Best Bud um,
Sure.
IPA, you mentioned lactose
Mm-hmm.
as one of the ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
So lactose is actually included. Like, what is it in the form of? Like milk?
Most likely, very likely, it's in that form. Of course, it's probably going to be in a powder form when you come to scaling it for production. But essentially, people or brewers will add lactose, whatever it is, whether it be powder or in the form of a syrup or in a concentrated liquid form, to make it creamy.
Oh,
So instead of
okay.
the acidicness you'd normally get from a beer,
Yeah.
it comes out sort of smooth, almost smoothie like. So that's why I call it milkshake, or they call it milkshake IPAs. Typically,
Yeah.
they add lactose into those IPAs to make it creamy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have to say that actually sounds very appealing to me. I think I
It's not
prefer
coconut
it.
milk though, bro. It's not coconut milk.
Well, I wouldn't expect coconut milk in a sweet thing or in some kind of a drink.
Ooh, well then, all right. I have some beers to introduce to you that are coconut forward and creamy at the same time.
Oh, well. Well, we can definitely cross that bridge when we get to it. I appreciate this review. This may be the highest review you ever gave on the SoCal DNA.
I think so.
Triple D.23.
I
And
think so.
may I ask, just out of
mhm.
curiosity, the .23, is that a reference to something?
Sort of is. It sort of is.
Mm.
It sort of is. Sort of is. It's not quite 24. Not quite 24, but definitely over
Okay.
22. Shout out Mamba Day. That passed
Yes.
this past couple days.
Yes.
Nothing will ever surpass Mamba. So this one had to suffer those consequences, being in the time that we're in right now. Maybe it would have been a triple D 2-4, but you know what? Nope, didn't hit that level yet. Didn't hit that threshold to get close to the quad. It was just there. That's my sort of. I think that's what I'll call it. The triple D Mamba. That's the bar you have to pass in order to be a fuck. This is great. Hall of Fame status sort of thing. I think that's pretty solid.
I like that criteria. I think I'm with that as well. And
What,
yes,
what
it
were you
was-
referring to?
Oh, I was thinking you were shouting out either LeBron or Michael Jordan there
No,
with the 23.
no, not yet. LeBron's not getting
Fair
a
enough.
shout out until he brings a chip home to
Yeah,
LA. To
and-
LA.
Oh, it has to be to LA. Yes, I'm
yeah,
glad you specified that. Speaking of LeBron, we might as well get right into it. Probably the major news story that's been going around the wire today is what's happening in the NBA. Obviously, due to some recent events involving more police shootings, the NBA players have been talking about the prospect of boycotting games. This was brought up actually yesterday, just in conversation, but nothing happened yesterday. So today, I think in the afternoon time, I was just checking Twitter and I found that, the Milwaukee Bucks haven't stepped out onto the floor yet. They're not warming up. Orlando Magic's there, but no Milwaukee. And as the time continued and it was getting closer to tip off, the Bucks still didn't come out. And eventually, I think they forfeited. So they forfeited the game, technically awarding Orlando the win, but I think Orlando counter forfeited, if that makes sense. So, ultimately, this was something that propagated through to the other two games. Chris Paul and Westbrook, they agreed to do the same thing. LeBron and the Lakers, they agreed to do the same thing as well. And before we knew it, Adrian Wojnarowski, he was tweeting out This is unprecedented. This is a historic moment in the NBA. All 3 games are postponed out of deference to, what's been going on, and trying to bring attention to it, and trying to bring a spotlight to it. But let me ask you this, Don, not even getting into, the tragedy that occurred, but how do you feel about the NBA boycott? I mean, this has never happened before, and it's kind of surreal, isn't it? Like, are you?
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think it's definitely interesting. I don't want to jump too heavy into politics right now, and I'm sure you could agree. Let's leave that for another day.
sure.
But this goes way beyond one step of taking the knee during the national anthem, as most of them have been doing, in the beginning.
Mm,
It's taking a stand collectively as an organization that knows it has a social impact, with what they say, with what they do.
mm,
I applaud them for standing up for what they believe is the right thing to do, especially across the whole organization. Um, and Adam Silver has a one hell of a job to do right now to figure out how to navigate this very, very troubling time. He already dodged COVID by setting up the bubble. Now what is he going to do maintaining the bubble and games not even being played? Interesting,
yeah.
right? Like,
It's a fascinating case study in how a professional sports league operates during the COVID season, and
sure.
also during the political unrest that's been happening in America.
Mm-hmm.
I have questions though. Like, I want to know, first of all, is it just for tonight, or do you think
I heard,
tomorrow's slate of games will
yeah,
also be postponed?
I heard tomorrow's slate of games is also being postponed, and I also heard that they will not continue until those officers have received justice in some form.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow.
But that's not from a legit source. That's more of just me talking to my buddies when we began cracking open. No, because they're like, oh, I read somewhere that. And you're like, oh, okay, all right, crack. I'll sip another one and not mention how dumb you may be right now. But I wouldn't be surprised, man. Because they want to do something. They want to say something. And they understand that, at least from the player's perspective, they're not really going to lose anything aside from time with their families. But they already had the option of keeping that time, as did Avery Bradley did, and Trevor Ariza, staying at home already. I don't know. It just pisses me off, man. Pisses me off because I was fully expecting to fucking take the W home tonight and get that, brush that one off of that one big step of many more that are coming soon. And it also gives fucking the damn Lily a chance to get his finger in line and his knee in line and whatever the hell he's playing with. That's all fucked up. Pisses me off.
I did not even consider that, actually. I was thinking, Dame's not playing today. It's pretty much game. It's game over. But now you're right. If they do delay, depending on how long they delay,
Yeah.
there is this remote possibility,
Yeah, man.
that Lily may become Lillard again and actually ball out. That scares me a little bit, Don.
But it also gives us the opportunity to get playoff Rondo finally fucking not hurt for once.
At this point, I'm not even relying on him for anything. I wouldn't even expect him to hold the towel. I don't think he's capable of doing that.
I think he's gonna go in knowing that he has 6 fouls and he's gonna give 6 hard fouls. That's what I'm expecting out of him. A couple elbows here and there. Aim for CJ's back wherever that broken bone is. Let's go for that.
Ooh, wow, that's some violent imagery right there.
Whoa, what?
Final.
Yeah, that was out loud.
that was out loud. It's one of your.
I mean,
spoken word poetry.
Yeah.
I
really wouldn't be surprised if a week from now some shit like this happens again and they just cut off the NBA season.
No, see, this is also a good question. Like, two things. Number one, okay, maybe if your buddies are right, they are going to hold out until justice is served.
Sure.
Okay, then what's the plan? Everybody comes back and plays, and the NBA has to protect itself somehow. So I think you're right. If something like this were to happen again, I think the NBA has to make a very tough, very difficult decision. Work with the players and say, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
look, this is a business after all, and these games are televised. You
Mm-hmm.
can't keep doing this,
Yeah.
right? If you want to do this, do it permanently for the season. Just kind of agree as a players' union. We're not going to play anymore, and we'll
Yeah.
call it.
And then they'll
But this can't be
reciprocate.
temporary.
They're going to take back some of the salary that was guaranteed and all that. And I'm sure there was a contract that they all had to sign to enter the bubble that probably laid out a scenario similar to this, almost like a doomsday scenario. That kind of laid out, all right, you're going to get like 2 days of boycotting, but that's it. I mean, who knows?
I do have to say though, I always shower praise on Adam Silver
Yeah.
because out of all the commissioners in pro sports, I think he's the most progressive.
No, you don't think Odell's progressive?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean,
Damn.
you
wanted to
can
get.
go you can go back to so many incidents. I mean, I think of
I know.
the Ray Rice issue. I think of so many others, but with
I tried
with
getting
the
you, man.
NBA
I can never get you. I need to start having these loaded questions. I'm gonna practice this week.
You should, and I think it's good for me too. I think it's good for me to practice. Me practicing against you is kind of unfair. It's like taking candy from a baby.
Hey.
I wouldn't feel good about taking all this candy from you. But if you insist, who am I to object? If you're offering me some Laffy Taffy, if you're offering me some Milky Way,
shake that Laffy Taffy.
there you go.
Laffy Taffy.
Can you? By the way, ladies and gentlemen, can you guys believe that was actually a song back in the day?
Yeah.
Like that was a real top 40 hip hop song.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
Laffy
I wonder if Laffy Taffy came out before that or after that.
The candy?
Like the actual candy itself.
There's no way it came out after, dude. There's no way. Like, I think Laffy Taffy. I mean, you know what Laffy Taffy's referring to, but it's also kind of a.
Wait, no. Can you explain for our fans?
I'll let you do that one.
No. You're the one that's This is all you. I started up. You are the knowledgeable one of the two. And you made the reference of it, and I just want to hear from you what you think Laffy Taffy is.
I'm just gonna say, it's a certain anatomy,
Okay.
for the females out there.
Oh.
All right, I think that's probably enough. I think you'll get the picture. And of course, to give it away, if you ever open up a Laffy Taffy before, you know what the color is. It's pink, so you can pretty much fill in the gaps.
Not really.
You can
They
understand.
have like a green apple one and a banana one and what's the good one? There's a couple good ones. They have a couple mystery flavors out there. But either way.
I'm sure they did. I think I've only tried the pink one. You might have tried the purple one, the black one. You've tried everyone.
Of course, yeah. I don't discriminate colors. I don't discriminate.
Very good. And transitioning out of this one real fast. So yeah, I think this boycott is very much unprecedented. I hope that I hope that justice is served. Of course, this is not something that we like talking about. It's not something that we like hearing about all the time, but it does go on. It does happen. And real change takes time. If the players feel like using their platform in this way gives them the best opportunity to catalyze the change they hope to see, then great. More power to them. It sucks from a fan perspective, selfishly speaking, because we're viewing this as entertainment. We like watching the NBA, rooting for the Lakers to win a title. Not having that and kind of having it be uncertain whether or not it'll actually come back, we don't know. It can be frustrating. I can sense your frustration, Don. I can sense why you'd be pissed off. But I mean, we know that your bracket hasn't been doing very well. I think first and foremost, we should probably say that. Let's.
Okay.
I don't know if you've been keeping up a little bit.
I haven't
On the bracket.
Well, how is everybody's doing?
I'm trying to find out actually. seems like I'm having trouble. There we go. Okay. So it looks like in the first round so far. Now I didn't update the scores from yesterday, but it looks like you're not too bad. I mean, the highest score right now is a 3-way tie for 4 points out of 16, and it's only 4 because only 3 series have finished.
Yeah.
The Miami, Boston, Toronto series, they're all done.
Yeah.
The rest are kind of up in the air still. You're doing okay. You have 3 out of 16.
There we go.
Points,
there we go.
You know? And you're tied with me. And
We're talking shit.
so I'm not doing too well either. You know, in the interest of full disclosure, neither of us are doing too well.
Oh,
but that's
Jesus.
all right.
Hey, did you have Houston sweeping too?
No, I don't have any sweeps in the first round, actually.
See, that's what was getting me. I was like, fuck, there has to be at least 1 or 2 sweeps here and there. But, like,
and
everything
there were.
seemed... Yeah, but I mean, like... No, sorry. But where it was there's more than just 2 sweeps. Already. 3,
There's
right?
3. And they're all in the East because I told you the first round would suck. I told you in the Eastern Conference, first round nobody really cares about. But it's really, the West is going to be really heated. So I'm surprised, man. You were the only person. I'm looking at the sheet now. You're the only person that picked Houston in 4.
Yeah, well, I believed in the beard. And Brody. I believed.
Well,
goddamn it, I should have believed in Aquaman. Fuck.
You should have believed in CP3.
God
but
damn.
The funny part is, I wasn't even aware when I was making these picks that Westbrook wasn't going to play.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
apparently,
I wasn't either.
Yeah, like Westbrook has been out for at least a couple games now, maybe the whole series. I'm not sure. He's projected to come back next game, especially with this, temporary hiatus that they're doing.
Sure.
He should be back next game, so that might change things. I know it's tied up there. OKC somehow won 2 games. I'm expecting Houston to win in 6. I'm fairly confident about that. But if it goes 7, fantastic. I love to see a 7-game series.
Even for the Lakers?
Like but tell me this, though, man. Are you as surprised as me about Utah? Utah's up 3-2.
I'm not. I'm really not. I mean, I am surprised in the fact that their roster isn't a typical high caliber roster, right? You got a slashing small forward, and by small I mean guard, where they list Mitchell at, right? Or do they list him at forward? Whatever.
Dude, he's like a short for a shooting guard, man. He's
exactly.
Like 6. Yeah.
That's why I say he's small, but he plays like a forward, like not small forward, but tiny, like shorter than usual guard, right?
No, he plays like a combo guard.
Yeah, but when is his shot really reliable?
How many threes do you think he averages per game?
I'd say like 2 or 3.
That's not reliable.
No.
What do you mean? That's awesome.
No. Considering when I say that, I mean if you look at his total points on a on the average, most of his points are coming from the paint, and it far surpasses the amount he gets as a 3 or from the 3. And to me, having a slashing guard like that, slashing forward, is kind of weird to have, especially when you have past defensive players of the year.
No, I'm just saying. You before you say more stupid things.
No. I'm just saying the typical what do you call it? The typical what is it? The typical components of a championship team lately have not been a defensive center and a slashing guard.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for finally saying guard. I don't know why on earth you kept saying forward. Donovan Mitchell is 6'1". I hope you realize that.
No, okay. I thought he was listed as a forward. Fuck it.
He's listed as a point guard, shooting guard. So let's get that straight.
All right,
he's not a forward. But number 2, I mean, look, the guy takes a lot of threes. Do you realize
how many
on
does he shoot
August
up?
17th he took 15 threes?
How many did he make?
6.
Well, that's not bad. Better than
And
Lonzo.
Guess what? Okay. When you're losing, it's easy to go back to the Lonzo bag.
Hey, I gotta go. Hey, I'm dabbing right now. Hey.
There you go. Dab away. I feel you. Congratulations for that little petty. But so look, on the 17th, 6 threes. On the 19th, 6 threes.
What are you looking at? Okay.
23rd, 4 threes. 25th, 4 threes. This guy is a good 3-point shooter, man.
Oh, he is. All right.
Well, so all I'm saying is, I think the argument you were initially trying to make is the fact that it's not really typical to have a slashing guard who's not the best shooter, I guess,
Sure.
paired with this defensive-minded
Wow.
center,
I
right?
I didn't even expect this. Well, he has off days though. Like, dude, look at the 17th, 6 and 15 from the 3-point line.
How many points did he score, Don?
57. I get it, but dude, look at that. Like, of course he's gonna score that much if he's chucking up the ball that much. Fucking Kobe scored 60, and he took what 90% of the
Yeah,
shots.
but like,
You know what I mean? Like,
I do, but like, I don't understand the point you're making because all the guys do this. Harden does this. Harden has nights like this.
hold on, let's look this up. Let's look up Harden.
By the way, I'm gonna need you to like turn up your volume if possible. You kind of went robotic for a second. Let me see if you're still
that might
there.
just be the internet then. Oh yeah,
Oh, okay,
Harden's
maybe,
numbers
maybe.
are terrible sometimes. He's been
Yeah.
doing shitty in the bubble. Oh, all right. Let's
Yeah.
look at, either way,
he had
okay.
yeah.
All right. I'm sorry, Donovan Mitchell, the Spider.
There you
I'm
go.
sorry. All right. I
you
apologize. I
There
hope
you
you
go.
still lose. But
Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, I have Denver in 7, so I'm hoping.
what
that
did I
Denver
have him
can-
at? Did I have him at 6?
Let me check for you. You actually have Denver in 6. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did.
And what is it? It's 2-2 right now.
It is 3-2.
3-2 Utah.
3-2 Utah.
All right. So
3-2 Utah.
I'm not getting it. Fuck.
You're not getting it, but you know the thing about this is the first round, everything's worth 1 point. If you get the team right, it's 1.
Sure.
The number of games is 1. Yeah, that matters. It does add up quickly. But
Mhm.
in the second round, the team is going to be 2 points. Third round, team is 3 points. So you'll have opportunity to make it up later if
Yeah.
you get your later picks right. So
Yeah,
focus
yeah.
on that.
Then I'm thinking, what do you call it? While we're on the topic of Utah and Denver, how do you think Porter Jr. is doing? Have you been watching? Sorry, I don't know if you've been watching. I'm sorry if this is out of the blue.
No, I haven't been able to watch any of their games actually because they tend to go a little bit earlier in the day.
Sure.
But Michael Porter Jr., I know that I think in the regular season or in the bubble return of the regular season, he was doing fairly well, right? I think he was putting up good numbers. I don't know how well he's doing in the playoffs, but I
Sure.
assume well. Is he doing all right?
He's sloppy. He's young. He's green. What was it? The coach benched him, I think, for one of the games because he wasn't playing defense. So he benched him for the following game, and then when he came in, he started playing defense. So at least he's learning, and he's receptive to that type of feedback, which is great. And he's learning how to play, given his size. He's still playing as if he were a guard, even though he's a big. So it's fun.
Oh, that's awesome. I think, the kid's only 22 years old. Let's not forget that. I think, coming back from those major injuries, he still hasn't had a whole lot of time in the NBA to really learn the game and adapt and discipline himself
Got it.
to be consistent. He'll have plenty of time for that. And I like the fact that he's getting this much playoff experience. Looking at the box scores, he had an impressive game too. 28 points, great shooting, 6 threes. I mean, phenomenal. So I think this guy is definitely someone to look out for. Someone you may consider for your dynasty league whenever that happens.
Oh, dude. Oh, so let's talk about that. How about we go on that, and then we go into the Art of War.
Art of War?
Yeah,
Sure.
Sound like a good plan?
Sure.
We're like 30
Sure.
minutes in.
I like
Let's just say you have first pick, or pick before me, and then snake wise after that. Who's your realistic first pick, knowing that this is a full-on dynasty league?
That's a good question.
And hey, let's get this down. Why don't we do a little championship sort of thing? Whoever takes home the higher rank of the two teams at the end of the year. What do you want to say? You want to say like $50?
Are we talking about this for 2K?
Yeah.
Oh, we should go higher. We should go higher than
Ooh.
that. Let's not set up actual bets yet. I think there'll be plenty of time for that later.
All right. I'm
Which
saying
is
that
kind of like-
maybe the next year's edition of 2K, the other person has to get it for them. Something like that.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, we
I
can
think
totally do
that's
that.
kind of fair, right? All right.
We
But
can
who would
do
you pick?
that.
Who would you pick?
Okay. I did talk about this with you briefly, and I gave you some indecision last time. So today for the show, I think I'll say it depends on who I think I would be most dominant with in the game.
Mm-hmm. Lonzo.
So, Well, I think I can save Lonzo for the final round. Pretty sure. Or even like pick him up off of waivers, like free agency. Uh, I think I would probably go with, gosh,
It's tough, ain't it?
I want to say Giannis. I want to say Giannis
Mm-hmm.
only because I know I can be very dominant in the paint. Like
Mm-hmm.
I used to play this game, and then just a full disclosure, Don and I are talking about NBA 2K21.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Mm-hmm.
contemplating, who would we get in a dynasty draft where all the players in the NBA are available. And I would say that since I'm pretty good in the paint for 2K, like I know all the post moves, I used to at least.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can get by you rather quickly, penetrate every time. I think Giannis would be cheese. He would be like
Of
super easy to
course,
win
of
with.
course.
So because of that reason alone, I say forget about threes. I don't even have to shoot threes with him. I'll just drive and kick to my shooters or drive and dominate on them. So
Okay.
that's my pick,
Well,
man. How
that
about
that
you?
that's assuming you have the number one pick out of all the 20 plus teams, right? Because whoever gets the number one pick is gonna pick Giannis,
Probably.
right? So who's your backup?
Um,
And
oh,
then
that's a good
let's
question.
say LeBron's the next one up after that. Let's assume we have 10th, 11th pick,
Yeah.
right? Just for
Oh,
real depth.
yeah. I was actually thinking about this years ago. Like if I had one of those middle picks in the first round, who would I go for? I actually think I'd want to go for a player that I'm really fond of.
Lonzo
Um,
Ball.
I wouldn't necessarily pick the best talent available,
Sure.
but say in the middle picks, I see a Devin Booker. You
Mm,
know,
yep. See, that's what I
um,
thought you were gonna say when you were like hinting at it. I was like, he's probably gonna choose Booker.
yeah. Primarily because I know he's not a defender by any means,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I could use him in the same way that I used Kobe in previous 2Ks.
Mm.
And I would be having a lot of fun doing the shot creator archetype, being able to like hit from anywhere on the floor, post up, threes, pull up, mid range, anything. And so just from a fun standpoint, and to be perfectly honest, I don't think I should start talking shit, but I will a little bit here. I don't think it matters what pick I get. I think whatever players I have, like to be honest, dude, I could even go Lonzo first round, and
I
it
say you
wouldn't make
do
a
it.
difference
I say
because,
you do it.
well, let's just kind of contemplate this. What I'm trying to say is, I think I could figure out a way to beat whatever all star, you know, Toon Squad, Monster, Space Jam team you come up with. I could figure out a way to beat them using even B level players. And
Mm.
as a matter of fact, I think
Mm.
one of the challenges we should do later on
Mm-hmm.
is, yes, Dynasty aside, I think we should do something where you pick like a all-star team or some kind of like god level team,
Sure.
and I pick all the bench players from some random team. And I think I can whoop your ass. I
Oh.
really do. I really do.
Oh. Shit.
Um,
Okay. Even
you
Laker
know,
bench. Laker bench. You go with Laker bench.
man, I'll take the YMCA Laker bench, man. I'll take anything. The defenders. I'll take the defenders, man. I'll do it. I'll do it.
Oh
But no, I
man.
mean, we will
Okay.
we will
Okay.
definitely cross that bridge at a later
Ah,
time.
jeez. The art of
Um,
war. Look at you're already getting in my mind here. I'm getting in my mind here.
I'm just getting ready. I'm preparing for the
Oh
full
man.
war. That's what I'm doing. And as you know, ladies and gentlemen, we have been entertaining you with Anthony Cummins, the ultimate art of war, and
I
we've
feel like
covered.
you change the pronunciation of his name every week. First it was
Well,
Anthony for a while, and then it was
well,
Anthony,
okay,
and then
okay. See, I always get confused because when you take out the H from Anthony, is it
yeah.
really Anthony? You know,
Uh, well,
Antoni, Antoni
let's
Cummins.
call him that.
So
I like that. I like
we'll,
that
we'll
one.
make him we'll make him Italian. So Antoni Cummins, Ultimate Art of War. Last time in lesson 2, we talked about the 5 constant factors of war, and they're of course the way, heaven, earth, the commander, organization. We talked about each one, our ideas about each one, not really reading them, not really knowing what they mean. Today we will talk about lesson 3, which is the way. And so this is the first of the 5 constant factors. The ideogram for way can be used to represent the Taoist way, the primary force of the universe which holds reality together. But here, its connotations are more to do with morality, harmony, politics, unity of the force and state, and the relationship of troops and the general populace with their leaders. Giles translates a term as moral law, which goes some way toward encapsulating these ideas. From a student of war standpoint, it involves identifying corruption or injustice in both the allied and enemy forces. It's kind of topical as well, if you think about it. Consider whether the laws are correct and there is true justice and well being in a society as a whole, both enemy and allied. If rulers are corrupt, unjust, or inhumane, those they command will hate them and their authority will be weakened. Wow, this is very contemporary, I feel. We can really talk about some current events with this. The best situation is to command a force that is defending a home that is filled with justice and harmony. When moral harmony is in place, the following conditions will result. Number one, troops join together and have one mind. Troops are supportive of their rulers. Troops will live and die for the state. Troops will stand firm together. And finally, the war tip of this lesson, before we digest it. Any force under a bad ruler will crumble and fall. Therefore, maintain harmony and unity above all else. So, Don, that is the way. I think we might have touched on a few of these, but it seems like it's really about morality here, huh? It's like your own moral compass. How do you go about maybe with the philosophy of war? But what do you think about the way, man? Does it change your perception of it?
No, I think I was pretty spot on about it. You know, as with many things in life, I'm always pretty spot on about things. The moral part is what's getting to me, but it makes sense the more and more I digest it, because I believed in the harmony part. You know, when I said the way, I kind of equated it to having that one voice as a fighter and his coach have, where there's no other options except the one option, the one way they've decided would win the war, the battle, the fight. It's almost like, you know, if I want to play devil's advocate, will a hive mind mentality kind of equate to the way?
I think so. It goes with what you're saying with the one mind, right? If you're a hive mind mentality, everybody's working toward the same goal, and they're buying in completely. Everyone is 100% on board with the mission, and that's exactly what this is about. When you look at the bullet points on the bottom, it basically says when you do have moral harmony, troops join together and have one mind. So it is exactly the hive mind mentality.
Well, and that leads me to then, you know, about halfway through that large paragraph up top, it involves identifying corruption or injustice in both the allied and enemy forces. And I feel that depending on whatever mindset you have, the opposite mindset, the one that's standing on the other side of the battlefield, will always be the one that is corrupt or unjust compared to your own mindset. So, who's wrong?
This is a great question.
Right? And I think I didn't really pose it in the most articulate way, given Best Buds.
No. But you know understood. What I mean? I understood the sentiment entirely, and it actually. I know I probably mentioned this from time to time, but it makes me think of a scene from The Walking Dead, where one of the heroes of the show, his name's Aaron. He basically asks
Spoiler alert.
Actually, you know what? I shouldn't. Yeah, because this is from season 10.
No, I mean,
so
as long as we say it, you know, spoiler alert.
Okay. Spoiler alert.
Skip forward like 3 minutes.
Yeah, for those of you that haven't seen season 9, season 10, just skip this part.
Look at that. See how considerate the D is, everyone. I'm just saying that's a point for me this episode.
That is a point for you. I think you gained a fan today.
Hell yeah, I got all the right components today.
Yes, you did. Let's not forget. So essentially, Aaron, one of the main characters of the show, he's talking to Michonne, another main character, and they're kind of on their horses. They're riding towards some place, and there's this war that's about to happen between their group, their faction, and this other group. I'll kind of keep it as vague as possible. And Aaron basically asked Michonne, you know, sometimes do you ever wonder if we're really the good guys? Because if you're on the other side of that line, if you're on their territory, they're looking at us like we're the enemy, and they're probably thinking they're doing everything right.
Yep.
So what makes us know that we're right? And it was a very interesting question. It's a philosophical question. And I think the truth is good and bad are relative terms. It all depends on what side you're on. What I think matters, though, is tying it back to the way, what you fight for, the reasons you're fighting. And I
Hmm.
think history will remember people who fought for the right reasons,
Hmm.
whether it's for justice, whether it's for freedom, whether it's to fight back against tyranny.
Sure.
Um, I think people will remember that. And even if decisions are made during war, which can be seen negatively, like maybe death happens, maybe a lot of people are lost, I think the side that prevails, if they were fighting for a just cause, they may be seen as the good guys. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Sure. No, I agree. I'm trying to. There's no real right answer, and not to take away from the art of war. I think the way, if we're strictly talking about having a successful war and leading your troops or being a part of the troop itself, having the
Mhm.
way is very, very key to succeeding in whatever endeavor you face, and having that buy-in, collective buy-in across all parties, is definitely key.
Mm.
Um, but it makes me think, man. Bapu, dude, you're treating Bapu wrong, dude. What if he's just trying to spread his religion, his Hinduism, man, and we're killing all his people? I don't see.
You
I
know,
don't see.
my feelings about Bapu are very deep seated. There's
Mm.
a lot of baggage there. There's a lot of history there that I don't want to get into.
Okay, okay,
Um,
okay.
you
I
know,
get it. I
but
get it. Well, so I'll pivot a little bit. Pivot, without traveling. I'll pivot a little bit.
sure.
Um, do you watch The Simpsons?
I love The Simpsons.
Dude, do you know it's their final season this year? I don't know if it ended yet.
No,
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah. I think it's like 30 something years. So I was gonna
Oh my god.
wait for what is it, for it to officially end. I'm gonna probably read up on it while I'm in bed
Yeah.
on my phone, just
Yeah.
to see. And I want to
Yeah.
fucking watch every single episode, like from the beginning, because there are times where I'll catch it on TV,
Yeah.
and I'll remember it. Right, that was like our show growing up. The one
Oh
show
yeah,
that
absolutely.
we probably shouldn't be watching, but our parents like, fuck it, we don't want to entertain them. It's late. I just want to drink my
Right.
best buds and hang out with my spouse.
Right.
But I
Right.
bring that up because did you know Apu was removed from The Simpsons a while back already?
Yeah, I think we actually talked about this
Did we?
in multiple podcast episodes. We talked about how Hank Azaria felt bad about voicing Apu, because obviously Hank Azaria is Caucasian and
Sure.
Apu's character is Indian, and in this politically correct climate that we're in, some people were objecting to that. Some people thought
Yeah.
that he was taking away an opportunity from Indian voice actors.
Sure.
And I guess eventually the decision was made to just remove the character from the show. But I just have to say, I mean, I haven't been watching for like the past probably 5 to 10
man.
years, but I was disappointed to hear that. I
Yeah,
liked Apu
I'm
a
gonna
lot.
look it up. Simpsons final episode.
Sure.
Final episode date. I probably want to watch. Oh, it ended already.
Seriously?
Yeah, it ended. Oh, maybe. Simpsons finally ending after 30 years. Fox has renewed the cartoon for 2 more series, which will see new episodes until 2021. But Danny
Oh.
has heard that The Simpsons is in its final year.
Oh,
So
Well,
we may be
interesting.
31. Season 31 is the last aired season of The Simpsons. It started on September 29th and ended on May 2020. May 17, 2020. Huh.
Interesting. I wonder if that renewal is still active for the 2021. I would hope so. I would hope that they keep going. To be honest, Simpsons to me, even though I don't watch it anymore, it was always like a staple. Like I knew that
Mhm.
there would always be a new episode of The Simpsons on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday at
You
8,
know.
right? Or Sunday at 6? I forget. I believe it was 8.
I think they moved it around a little bit. Might have
Yeah.
been 8. Might have been 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I remember when I was a kid and I missed an episode of The Simpsons on Sunday. I'd be so sad. Maybe I had to go somewhere, right? Like my
Yeah,
parents
yeah,
took
like
me
a family
somewhere.
party or something. You got dragged
Oh,
to doing it.
The worst, the worst. I was like, come on, it's 7:45. Let's go home.
I
But,
got school
you know,
tomorrow. You're trying to come up with excuses or something.
Exactly. Yeah, it's cool. I gotta sleep early. But you know what though? I think it's been so long that I've seen The Simpsons. I
Oh
think if
man,
you start watching again, I'm not saying that I'm going to join you and watch from the beginning, but
sure,
when you get to maybe like the season 17, 18, like around that area,
sure.
because that's when I last remember watching,
Yeah,
or maybe even in the early
yeah.
20s, I forget.
We'll start watching it, and then we could probably have a new segment, like a new episode review.
We could do something where we kind of talk about our favorite Simpsons memories leading
Oh
up to the
yeah,
finale of the
hell
series,
yeah,
whenever that happens.
hell
I think that
yeah.
might be kind of cool. And
Oh
there's so
man.
many. I mean, the Simpsons thought of everything. They were the ones that predicted Donald Trump would be president. You know that?
They predicted a lot of things that came true, and
Yeah, yeah.
they
So
also predicted a lot of things that did not come true. So, I mean,
that's true.
it leaves me a question. What other have you watched Rick and Morty? Is what I'm ultimately going to lead up to. I might as well just ask you point blank.
I've heard so many good things about the show, but I haven't. I haven't seen a single
You
episode.
have to, dude. Find the episodes online. You can find them all over the place. It is fantastic. As an intellectual as you are, and I say that in all the right ways. I'm not trying to talk shit. It is a fantastic show. It combines. You gotta at least watch the first episode. It's great. Pick one at random. Honestly, you don't even need to watch them in succession.
I'll definitely put it on my queue.
Oh,
I
dude.
feel
All
like-
right. Well, we'll talk about this in 2 years, everybody. Here we go.
right after I watch Chef's Table. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
By the way,
No,
Chef's Table, September 2nd. That's when the new season's coming out.
Hey, I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah.
For you. I'm excited for you. Let me get that straight. I still got to watch Chef Brock, whatever his name
Yeah,
is. What is it?
man.
Brock,
Dude.
Rocky Road or something?
I'm just sure.
Let me look that up. Oh, no, I got it. Sean Brock. I wrote it down.
Is that written down with pen and paper, or is that on Evernote?
Nah, fam. So what I usually do, like, for things that are quick and I'm not on my computer
Things that
or
you're not
anything-
going to be looking at for a while, you're just going to keep it somewhere?
Well, yes and no. I actually have this Google Keep. It's like a little
Oh,
note thing.
okay.
And I just have like a never-ending checklist of things that either I want to get to, or I just want to do that particular day.
And I got to ask that. All right, to pivot off that.
Yeah.
When are you going to start doing these things, man? Because I'm assuming that list is lengthy, and you've gotten to the point where you have hours upon hours of dedicated time that you are, for lack of a better word, procrastinating to another day. When are you going to get to it?
Wow, that's a very heavy question. Well, I think I'm actually getting to some of the more important things, but as far as like media consumption goes, right? Let me actually tell you, because I have another list called the Queue. It's literally called the Queue.
How many lists do you have?
So
what the fuck?
yeah, like it's called the QUEUE.
Oh, so my requests haven't even hit the queue yet? Wait, well, hold on. Now I'm hurt, man. I'm hurt.
No, I mean I'm gonna put it on there.
On the
don't
very
worry.
bottom in small font.
Well, the font doesn't get any smaller, but yes, I think it will go on the bottom. But quite frankly, for me, the queue consists of things like things I actually really want to watch or I want to do,
Okay.
like music, right? And I'll give you guys a little preview of what I'm trying to do this
Taylor
year.
Swift.
Not Taylor Swift. I don't care about folklore, but there's a couple of hip hop albums that I haven't gotten to yet that I want to. Ice Cube actually came out with an album you probably didn't even know.
I don't
called
care.
Everything's Corrupt. That might have been last year sometime.
Is it spelled correctly or is it with a K?
It's actually spelled with a C, but the everything is with an A. So it's
There we go.
Everything's
There we go.
Corrupt, you know? One of them have to be off. you know
Of
that.
course.
So then there's another album by prolific producer Swizz Beatz
Okay.
called Poison.
Ooh. Okay.
I haven't heard it, but I know there's a lot of great features, including Pusha T on there, so I want to check that out.
I'm assuming Alicia Keys is on a couple of them, and she probably was used as a sample here and there. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, doubtless. I mean, they're married, right?
Yeah,
So why not? Another one is The Lost Tapes 2 by Nas.
Ooh.
Now, before you say anything, because I think I know what you're going to say here, Nas actually released a new album just the other day called The King's Disease. I have not heard it yet.
I haven't
naturally,
either. Should
but-
we
but-
do that album review for next week?
I don't know about next week, but I think, yes, definitely. We should definitely do an album review.
We got to stay
eventually.
current, man. We got to stay current.
I know. That's actually a me problem for sure.
Yeah.
But I will say, just from what I read on Twitter a little bit, it's been getting really good reviews, which is surprising for a recent Nas album.
Sure.
The Nasir, produced by Kanye, didn't do too hot, so this
Yeah.
is refreshing. And then I got some books here too, like the books that I'm currently reading. A movie actually that I want to watch, but I haven't gotten to it yet. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the
Okay.
Tarantino movie.
Sure. Yeah,
So
with
that's on
Leo.
my queue.
Yeah. Yeah.
With Leo, Brad Pitt. I think it'll eventually get on Netflix. I'm hoping for it so I can check it out. And
Again,
speaking of
two
Netflix,
years from now. 2 years from now.
2 years from now, and also I want to see the Space Force.
Oh,
The
I
TV
watched the whole thing.
series.
The thing was fantastic.
You liked it? Okay, cool.
It'll scratch your itch for whatever office expectations you have.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay,
it'll
'cause
scratch
I
it.
heard it doesn't. I heard it doesn't. I
It
heard
does.
it's
That's why I
like,
say slightly. It'll just scratch a little bit,
slightly, okay.
right? Because nothing will
Right.
ever replace The Office. If we're gonna be quite frank
Right.
about it, right?
Right.
Um,
I got you.
but it's entertaining, and I think you should watch it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I got you. I think that is definitely on my queue. In addition to Sean Brock's Chef Table episode, and whatever else Rick and Morty that you said.
It's fantastic.
No, for sure. I think there's a lot of good content out there. I have this conversation with so many people. There's so many things to watch, so many music to listen to, and just simply not enough time. Simply not enough time. And I don't know if you know that I'm like this, but usually when it comes to music from artists that I really appreciate, I never just listen to the album once. I really absorb it by listening to it over and over again, front to back, to truly understand the artist's vision.
Sure.
And then I go into the tracks that I don't like. Believe it or not, I save the tracks that I do like separately, and I don't listen to them for a while. To
And
kinda keep them
you
fresh.
give the ones you don't like a chance, right? You're like, why
I
didn't
give
I
them like
this?
20 chances. I give them 20 chances. And sometimes I find like, hey, my ears are being tuned to this new track. I
Sure.
kind of dig it now. I like certain elements. So I'll give you some feedback here. The album that I'm actually listening to now is called I'm With You by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And you're going to say, I'm With You? Red Hot Chili Peppers? What year is this? Well, this one came out in 2011. So yes, it is a rather old album by today's standards, but I've been kind of slowly going through the discography of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and so I'm on their penultimate release right now, and probably in a month or two, I'll get to the 2016, The Getaway album. But that's a story for another day. I think we have extended this outro more than I anticipated. But yes, always remember the way, ladies and gentlemen. Lesson 3 from The Art of War. Always remember the way. And speaking of the way, we will be believing in ourselves and our morals, and wishing you the best and hoping that you keep true to yourself as well. Because, ladies and gentlemen, you know that only you can prevent forest fires. Good night, everyone.